Welcome to our next adventure with Chemology 411, a podcast about anything and everything. Kim and her guests will take you behind the scenes, behind the story, or behind the bar. So sit back. Make sure your seatbelt is fastened, tray table in its upright position, all carry-ons stored under the seats. But for this adventure, electronic devices must remain on, as we are ready to take off on our next adventure. Introducing Kim Schultz and Chemology 411.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 20. This evening, we are going to talk about Valentine's Day, and I have a new brilliant idea for a nonprofit that would help single parents. I am Kim Schultz, and I'm your adventure coordinator for this show. Let's say hi to my co-host, Tyson Harley.
Hello. First of all, a couple compliments. We talked offline, and you got more than one brilliant idea. I believe you had at least two there. And then second of all, as to the introduction, I am just now coming off of Cloud 9, or maybe it's Cloud 15 for Patrick Mahomes.
You got it.
So, yeah, I still haven't bought my gear for the Super Bowl stuff. I bought the cool hat, but I haven't bought a lot of gear. I bought some, kind of commemorative magazines and that cool hat they wore on the sidelines. So, yeah, it's pretty fun.
How's your tattoo doing?
My tattoo, oh, yeah. Welcome to
Guess we're going to have to watch episode 19 to hear where his tattoo
is. No, that's in the extras. That's the DVD. That's the Blu-ray extras. That's the High definition. So anyway, yeah, we did have the parade. You said we didn't discuss it last time.
We did not.
Anyway,
I
the parade was great fun, even though you and I didn't go. I know I paid a lot of attention to all the coverage and people are all concerned about the adult males and the exact age range of drinking for celebration, actually drinking as they celebrate. Wasn't too worried about it. I wish they maybe wouldn't have used the language, but on the other hand, when you get if any TV station didn't have the old dump button delay thing on, they'd have to be stupid.
Right.
So surely they should have looked up some book on what to be careful about. And one is make sure you put it on a 7-second delay. Because guess what?
Right.
Grown men who just had the best athletic achievement of their lives and then get to drink for 4 hours while they're on a slow parade are probably going to curse a bit. Well, now, they should know sober. Wait, this is really TV. I know you're acting like it's not TV, but it's TV.
It's TV.
So they cursed, and I'm pretty sure they dumped it usually, but I got it.
So when Kelsey was doing his speech, he stopped on the first F-bomb, but then after he got that adrenaline going, and it was he was like, like but then on the last two times, well, he said it multiple times and he kind of caught himself, but he did end up saying twice, and you could, they beeped it right before or after, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know why we're so sensitive, but I mean, I'm sure some children are now going to be joining gangs.
Well, it's funny because, joining gangs.
I've never heard that word before.
They'll be Bloods, right? Because of the red.
That's right.
Red. They won't be Crips. But, it's like they're going to curse, unfortunately, but about basically any parade that's happened in the last 25 years for baseball or football, someone's cussed with that microphone in hand. So.
But, I mean, come on, listen to this. We're watching football. If you've not been to a football game, there's especially lot of drunk people, a lot of drunk people, and then there are a lot of cursing, a lot of very horrible behavior. The Chiefs game is not really the most family-friendly place to bring small children.
It's a lot more intense.
It's
like
expensive,
you said,
but
baseball is a little bit more laid back, so people probably are, as much.
Yeah, I was going to say sometimes, but
rally, time.
I have more relaxing time at a Royals game. At the Chiefs game, we call him Airplane Man. So about third quarter, he gets really, really drunk, and so he starts going up and down the stairs. We're in the end zone, so he starts going up and down the stairs, raising his arms like, "Get up, everybody, get up!" And he's like clapping. And my friend Frankie always goes, because we have end seats. She's like, he hits me in the head, I'm taking him down. And so, but the funny thing is Airplane Man, and if he's listening to this, every game he's with a new girl. I mean, I'm thinking after the game, they're like this, dude, I cannot handle you and your airplane arms running up and down like he's the cheerleader, and he's screaming and he's so drunk. And then like one game, it was like by fourth quarter, he was like passed out in his seat.
So you think he's got season tickets, and then that's his,
he's got season tickets.
That's his in. It's like,
yeah. I mean, sometimes some season he'll be with the same girl, and then all of a sudden we're like, I got tickets.
Season tickets. That's an actually a pretty good end. Just for an easy first date. That's fun.
I have.
You're like, yeah.
I have access to tickets. I don't get dates.
But yeah, I mean, alcohol. Alcohol. Yeah, you do. Let's not be. Alcohol is such a big part of the entirety of society, let alone the advertising. When they're not trying to get you addicted on the next pharmaceutical drug, then every fifth commercial, especially during sports events, is on alcohol, if not every fourth commercial. You know, so I wasn't going to be too offended. It could have been better. It could have been super Disney, yeah, but, you know, reality's reality, and this might not happen again for another 20 years.
And, you know, like during the Super Bowl, and I don't remember the commercials because I was drinking alcohol. I wasn't drunk not to remember it, but I was like talking to friends when commercials were on, so I really wasn't. I was in a bar, so I couldn't really hear them, but Budweiser has tons of commercials because they're an NFL sponsor, I believe. But during the Super Bowl, they always use their money to put the Clydesdales on. And
I didn't see that this year.
I don't know. I'm just saying that they normally don't have it. But what was that commercial? What's up? What's up? Wasn't that like Budweiser. A Super Bowl commercial? Wasn't that started? Yeah. And so like that was that. And then what was the last Budweiser thing? Because I went to my friend's party, and her 16-year-old son had the whatever the new Budweiser saying was. I have to look it up.
I don't remember what it is.
But I was like, he has a beer shirt on. And she's like, yeah, he got it for Christmas. And I was like, he's 16 years old, and it wasn't What's Up, but it was something like that. It was like the new whatever Bud Light tagline. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, so these guys had won, and I don't understand why people cannot just be happy for one freaking day. You know what? And understand, I don't get the fact that these people are so weird when it comes to criticizing other people and judging them on their behavior.
You touched on it because, you know, when your athlete is as good as Mahomes, we kind of put him on a pedestal, like he's like the next coming of Jesus practically, and he's got the good corporate, but for a lot of us fans, like, he knows what to say and during the press conference. For some of those fans, it's like, well, good for him because he's acting like a 24-year-old on a day when he should be able to let go a little bit and release because he's had a great accomplishment. So good for him for drinking a little bit and having some fun with his buddies, as long as it doesn't get just crazy. And it was funny because in his drunk voice, his voice actually sounded better.
In his raspy voice. He's like, I don't even have a voice.
I heard him say, he had tweeted or whatever, you guys are going to have to excuse me, just warning you beforehand, my voice is pretty weak today, and it's usually weak to begin with. And I'm like, does that mean it's going to sound normal? And it's like, it actually sounded kind of extra masculine with the grittiness going instead of the Kermie thing.
Well, and you know what? These guys cuss. They're humans, and just because, you know, he is a very religious person, they highlight the fact, you know, oh, he's over here praying. And I think some religious people forget that other religious people cuss and drink alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, like every Catholic I know.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No.
Listen, I exaggerated for effect, but it's like, you know, there are Baptists and then there are born-agains, and there are some just more regular denomination that aren't quite as devoted to every single moment of their lives being perfect, and they do plenty of drinking. Social
Catholics
drinking,
have beer festivals.
Network drinking.
And when a priest becomes a priest, it's kind of like a wedding ceremony, you know, he gets a ring and everything. Yeah, keg party. Like, it's okay. And I was not raised not to cuss because I was raised Catholic. I don't do Catholic now, but I was raised, drinking was fine as long as you went to confession. Forgive me, Father, for I'm...
Forgive me, Father.
No, this is what I did. My mother said, you cannot go to the party because you have to get up and go to church on Sunday, or you have to go to Saturday night mass. And we're like, okay. So here we are dressed up in our hooch mama party outfits, walking Saturday into night. Church. And then we'd go to confession and be like, forgive me, Father, from about to sin. No.
You ever at least get a Snicker?
I would not do that. I did not go to I wasn't the big Catholic person. My mother was more Catholic than me. I kind of followed along. So
I'm about to say.
But anyway, so I was still. It took me all week last week just to get over the excitement.
Every single day. I mean, again, some people are like, oh, who cares? Okay. But I understand the envy because honestly, Patrick Mahomes is basically, as you can see, the next Aaron Rodgers potentially, at least, because really Aaron's only won the one. And I'm not saying we're going to win more, but I think in the very least he's an Aaron Rodgers, the face of the league, and a great quarterback. Depends on whether we can fill out the roster. So I get it.
Right.
Don't mean to be bragging too much, but obviously after 50 years, it's still a pretty exciting time. Maybe next year it's not as exciting or in the next several years, if we win one more somewhere in there, I think it'll still be exciting because you don't know how many more you're going to win. He's about to get paid out the ears too, and there's a salary cap.
I was going to say there's a salary, so it's like but we say that, but we don't know because he also is for the team and wants to win, and if they have to eliminate some of the people and he doesn't have the team that he needs to go, he's kind of, he
might turn to like what Brady did many years is say, you know what, let's renegotiate my deal so I have more money for other positions. But he won't do that on the first one.
No.
He might renegotiate later. He's going to be making this where I said, if there's no sports tomorrow, I'm good with it. I like watching my sports. It's a distraction. But if a dude does not get paid $35 million a year, because that's what we're talking.
Right.
To play a game, then I'd be okay with it. So that's what we're talking. He's going to be in the range of 30 to 35 million a year.
Right.
Do the math on that. Okay.
And that's not even, his 5 to 6 endorsements that he already has. He has his own cereal, which they sold so many more boxes than they even thought they were going to do it.
Just Hy-Vee version.
Ketchup. Just everything that his face is on, he's already doing.
Yeah.
He's going to be branded very well, but he was raised in a professional sports. He's got intelligent parents that are going to make sure that he's taken care of.
So they just need to take care of their money. Okay, so every million is equal to 20 people making $50,000 a year. Okay, so you're talking 35 people. That's 700 people making $50,000 a year.
That's how much he makes.
700.
Yeah.
If he makes $35 million is what I mean.
Right.
Which is going to be about the bar for him, $35 million a year for his next contract. But anyway, it was great, and I'm still kind of thinking about it a lot. But for the first 4 or 5 or 6 days, all I did was go watch more videos and go watch more stories and go read more about the Super Bowl and watch the Super Bowl again.
They did that last Sunday. Last Sunday, a lot of my friends did that. They watched the Super Bowl again. I did not. I worked. I saw it once. I'm good. I enjoy that kind of stuff, but I really have so much stuff going on right now that I don't have that time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was
but you do, however, have time to think about ways to save the world.
I do.
You were all excited when I got here tonight.
Oh, I know. Well, no, there's a couple.
I feel like some of that should have been the little extra bonus audio. Right. As excited as you were about some of this stuff.
Well, and so there was. I know different people on Facebook, and I read through the comments, and it things sometimes just make me mad. So what I do is I type it out, and then I either copy and paste it over to our show notes, like I did for this one. Or
that's your therapy,
or I just delete it. That's my therapy because I want to say it, but I don't want to get into the argument. And and so someone had made a comment, and I know this because they actually were pushing something earlier.
Keep your thought.
Okay.
But just so you know, you probably saw in my regular profile, I may have said something that said, and something to the extent of, to your point, or I'm going to effing slit my own throat.
Yeah.
So we're kind of feeling the same vibe.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I saw something on Facebook and I was just like, no. So I typed out this thing, and it was like, it's funny how we set up all these services that are supposed to help those in need. We love to make those in need feel like crap when they actually use those services. Losers, entitled. We have people who would love to work but just can't seem to catch a break. Single moms can't really take the bus to drop off their kids at daycare and then go to work and take a bus to pick them up. Why don't we, and this is my program that I was going to show. So basically, why don't we have a program that would help them get a dependable car so they could get their kids dropped off and picked up and get to work on time? Why do we ignore those who really want to work and improve their life? They also pay higher interest rates. They're paying higher bank rates because of their credit. Why are we not helping them? The ones that make less actually pay more. And I'm going to stop there. I was actually talking to a friend of mine who lives in a close to $1 million house. And I had just...
Which is a lot here, by the way, for
which
you
is
East
like,
Coasters.
yeah. Which is like,
it's
think
like
it's
five
a shack.
times
It's like,
a pretty nice house.
Yeah, it's a huge mansion-ish house.
A $200,000 house here is a pretty nice house.
Probably about a $700,000 house.
So $1 million means that much more.
$1 million is, it's huge. And I had made a comment because I was dealing with a client and they had overdraft fees and it was like $32, and it was just not fair because I have other clients who don't have to pay overdraft fees and they bounce checks just as much, but the bank writes it all off depending on their bank, but they also have more money in investments in other things. And so I said to this person, I said, you know what I don't find it being very fair is that why do people who are struggling and just trying to make it work have to pay higher interest rates and have to pay all those bank fees? And she looked at me without even thinking what she said, and she goes, we earn the right not to have to pay those fees. We worked really hard.
I never even know that happened. I got to be checking with my bank because I've been a good customer. I had no idea you could be like, no, if I overdraft for some strange reason, it shouldn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, and there's but they have the accounts, so yeah, some people don't pay the fees. So anyway, I just looked at her and I was like, did you hear what you just said? You just basically said you don't have to pay the fees because you worked harder than these people who are literally working 3 minimum wage jobs trying to raise their children without a father. Like, that's just not good to me. I was a little bit thrown behind on, making a comment like that. It just wasn't, to me, it wasn't good.
It sounds social engineering to say that, but it's really true. If I can take a quick aside, some of the work that people, once they get to a point in their life where they've got well-paying jobs because they have this great value, you go stick them at IHOP for 5 days and see if they're not crying by the end of it.
Right.
Because 2/3 of them will be.
Right.
With that weird. So as far as the value we put on certain amounts of work, it can be wacky sometimes.
Exactly. So what a great country we live in. Don't lump all low-income people into one class. Don't judge all low-income people by the actions of just a few. We need to do better. Oh, and then we have those families who make a lot of money, just can't seem to figure out how to live within their incomes, and then they start to complain. So that was my comment, and then all of a sudden I was like, that is not going on Facebook. That's going to go in my thing because I've got a young lady who is a single mom. All you single ladies, all the single ladies. Well, her baby daddy is in jail, so there's no child support. There's nothing there. Her parents don't live in town. She's always had a hard life. She's had it rough, and she brings a lot on herself. But it's also her survival, just trying to survive, raise her kid. Do the best person she can, but she always has a crappy car, and her car just broke down, and so now she needs a starter, and she's never going to be able to afford that.
That's a real when I wasn't making money, and I still don't make great money, but there's something about just finally making income well above what your lifestyle is if you manage your lifestyle.
Right.
If you're not to that point, $500 might as well be $7,000.
Exactly.
You just don't have it.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Well, and that's what a lot of people, $500, try $50. $50 to some of these people.
Something like repairing car, and it's in the hundreds?
It's in the hundreds. You're just like, and so the stress is on you. Your child's going to incorporate that. So my thing is I don't understand why we don't have some sort of a program that there are so many cars out in the world that need to be fixed up and purchased, and then these single moms can actually apply to be part of the program. And the program would be much larger than just give them a car, because even though I might be a Democrat, I do not believe you just give people stuff for free. I believe that there's a value to it.
It's okay that there's some strings attached.
Correct.
If they're positive, if they're positive and affirmative. And there's already a program where you can. I'm not saying cash for clunkers. That's some weird program. I shouldn't say weird, but some program back in the Obama. But where people will take your old car for charitable purposes.
Yes, they do.
And so you get that same idea, but for your point, they're there for this pool of people that are applicants. Go ahead with your
So the applicants would fill out an application, and then you would be provided a car that is not a $2,000 piece of crap car. This car would come with, it would be maintenance, so the maintenance would be on it. The starter goes out, it's started taken care of. You go, they would provide, the daycare would be provided for, because this is only for single parents. They can have other programs for other people, but I'm really just working on the single moms and the single dads. This is not just a mom thing. There's single dads out there that need the same thing.
Yeah, but the single parenthood, I think, is an important thing that you mentioned.
Correct.
Because what was my initial thing? It's like,
why don't they just take the bus?
Luckily, we do at least live in a big enough town that has true, maybe not superb, but true public transportation. But then to your point, if you're a parent and you're single, you just got so much time involved to be making the rounds.
Right.
I mean, that's the focus on single parents.
So the single parents. So they register, they get themselves a car, they've got to maintain the car, then they go to classes so that you can teach them, evaluate, and help them understand and structure their budget and live within their means. And they have to learn how to do that. And then after so long,
financial
they can
strategies.
start to pay for that car, a small amount. But besides that, they're donating their time. They're doing something to help out, whether it's at a nonprofit or whether whatever is doing the car program has something for them to do to help in the community.
The time can also be like in lieu of money.
That's it. So they're not giving you dollars. They're giving you their time, but they're still filling it. Like there's lots of nonprofits that need a lot of people to do, like clothing banks. So you know what? Going to go into the Salvation Army, and on Saturdays, every Saturday for 5 hours, you're going to go and you're going to hang clothes up or whatever. But we also are going to provide them with childcare, because we don't want it to be an extra burden. We want to get them into doing this, but still they're going to learn. And at the very end, they can actually buy the car, or they can hopefully have enough money to get a car. We would offer them low interest rate loans so that they could do it. They still have to have a mentor. The mentor is the biggest thing. Like big brothers and big sisters, they need someone that's going to be there to hold them accountable, because a lot of them, when Christmas comes around, I see like all the gifts that they go out and they buy. They go out and they work extra shifts, and I'm like, no, your child's 3.
What you hate to see, to your point of extending that mentorship or whatever, is for them to be on the right path for about a year and a half or whatever.
Exactly.
And then it kind of goes by the wayside. Now, I'm a libertarian, but I'm gonna lean more generously, because I'd be like, I don't know, can't you just kind of let them give a token amount through that year and a half or 2, and then they just get the car if these were charitable cars anyway? I mean, would they have to continue to pay just so they had a...
The thing is teaching responsibility. So if you have to buy new cars, you have to have new cars coming in, Like so if you've got 50 people in this program, you've got 100 people, that's 100 cars. So you've got to be able to
So
pay.
they're giving back once they're able to.
Correct,
but
so there it's kind of like you notice someone that goes through breast cancer, and then after they get into remission, they go do the walk and they want to raise money to do that. This would be sort of the exact same thing, except that money would go into a fund because you're looking at the cars being donated, but they still have to be serviced. They still have to have insurance. They still have to have all that stuff.
Maybe it's a percentage of the blue book value at that point or something like that.
Right. Well, and it's just, but you're teaching them that just don't give it to them. They have to figure it out, because if you let them have the car for 2 years with no payment, living on that budget, and you just hand it to them, they're not going to have the $500 to fix that car when it breaks down because they've not learned anything from it.
And maybe it's some condition of you need to have part of this financial kind of education program. Get that $1,000 in the bank.
Correct.
the famous steps. Dave Ramsey. Get a month. Get $1,000 first. Is it no? Get a month's worth of expenses, and then 6 months, and then
basically. So the thing is you can take the money. This is what I tell my clients who have children that live at home and they're not in high school. And I said, okay, they want to live in your house. All right, that's fine. But they need to pay you rent. And that rent money goes into an account. So when that child goes to move out, you give the child and you say, here's your down payment on your apartment. Here's some money for a couch. They think they're paying rent. In their brain, they're doing it. They're going to want to get out on their own now, but you let them live for free, they're never going to leave. So they're paying the rent, but you're not keeping the money because you're building something for them to have when they leave. My daughter, when we did that, my daughter had to put 25% of every paycheck into a savings account. 25% of every check my daughter has ever made since she was 17 years old is in a savings account, and she cannot spend it unless it's in like a big purchase. So she bought herself, I think she's bought herself 2 laptops. She had a laptop when she went to college, and she used some of that money, and then she had to buy a new laptop because that laptop got old because she likes Macs, so she upgraded her MacBook or whatever. But besides that money's not obtainable to her. She does not have it, and there's a lot of money. So when she wants to go buy a house, she's got her down payment. And so I take care of her money. So I go in every month and I take 25% of her automatic deposit and I move it out, and she doesn't get to spend it. Anything in that checking account, she can spend whatever she wants on, but 25% of it, she's never been able to spend that money, and she's never needed to get into it to pay a bill because she doesn't get to live off of it. So there's different ways of doing it. So we just need to work on them, and whether that money is used to get a different car, maybe they don't like the car that they have and they want to get a car. There's whole different possibilities that we can do.
Another point that you brought up is the idea that, as you're learning the value of money, another thing that you have to, in a way, there's like this minimum amount of money you need to have to find some values. And by that I mean $2,500 is a number you said earlier, is going to get you a used car.
Yeah.
But if you can somehow get a $5,000 or $4,500 or $6,000 car,
right,
then you got potentially, if you're a little bit picky, a nice used car.
Well,
and if you get the floor of the quote used car, guess what you need in like 6 months to a year and a half.
Well, and so when we're doing taxes, and we do a lot of taxes, these single moms, and they're making, let's say, $16,000 a year, their tax refund with one kid is going to be about $5,000. 2 kids, you're going to add on maybe $7,000. They could get back to $8,000 or $9,000. Well, so what those moms do is they go out, or the dads, they go out and they buy themselves that $2,500 car. Then they spend the money over here. Some of them, when I was a single mom, I paid off my credit card first. I already had a car. I had a house. My Christmas got paid off with that money. And then it all went into savings, and not one dime was spent on anything but to pay bills. But that's not what happens. I had one parent that went out and spent $1,500. They had 3 kids, mom and dad, $1,500 to buy some blow-up, stupid-ass toy for their backyard. Oh, because the kids are going to love it. Okay, wait a second. You can't pay your house payment, but you're going to go spend $1,500 on this blow-up thing that's going to be worth like one summer, and it was gone. I mean, the kids destroyed it. And so we want to teach them how to use the money. They get that refund back. That's not a vacation. Like, you don't get to go and have a great life when you're only working to the lowest potential that you have. So we want to get these people into a better job. Figure out they need training. Get them, this mentor would get them into some like Washburn Tech, which is like our technical college. Get them into some classes, figure out what they need, push them in a direction to where they don't have to continue being poor. This whole project would not just be giving them a car. This whole project, the car would only make a possibility for them to shine. And we don't do that. We don't do that with any of these programs that we do. Even the mentor programs are like, we're just going to meet for an hour and we're going to talk to you. Oh, well, your car broke down. You can't make it in. Okay, well, I guess we're going to cancel.
You got a nonprofit mind, but as you know, I mean, when it's nonprofit and it's not someone's, when you got a lot of volunteers are great, except it's not really their, like they got to do it to a halfway decent extent, or they get fired. You know, you kind of have to deal with some flexibility with volunteers, or they'll just leave. But, so how do you manifest it?
Their staff, cleanly? Their staff. I mean, when I worked at Let's Help, our teachers got paid. I mean, they did the GED. You have a staff. And your volunteers, when you do Big Brothers and Big Sisters, they spend a lot of time with those little kids. So these mentors could be tons of different industries from all over, getting in and trying to find and help these people out. I just think that we need to focus more on it. It irritates me.
We were talking off air about a similar thing about how, you know, when you don't know, you just have not had the habit of, or even the exposure to making that better income. And we talked in kind of a related manner about people just in kind of a vicious circle of, you know, not having a network and not having any good jobs. And then all of a sudden, even if they have an okay education, they're underperforming versus what their education or their ability is, and then that gets in their way mentally.
Right.
And all that stuff that you were saying about this reminds me of a book I saw one of my coworkers reading, and you may have seen it on the bookshelves, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Blank. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, look at this is where I am today. She showed me a highlight. And one of them is to remember that it's not motivation. You got to get motivated to act. Sometimes that's a two-way street. If you do an action, then the fact that you just made that little amount of progress becomes your motivation for your next act.
Correct.
So this type of a program can get people, you know, going along those lines because someone's pushing them towards those little acts over a period of time that can then get them going, you know, along that next path. And there might be people who have been discouraged for any number of reasons, and they really do have pretty good qualifications, but, you know, maybe it's like some single moms hadn't worked in a while, or they never really had to work in their career because the husbands they're now divorced from mostly, you know, had the finances. So you kind of have it in your background, but you didn't. The woman didn't have to use it a lot.
Right.
And now it feels weird because you're so far out of the field and no one's taking you seriously. And until you kind of get that first little footing going, it seems like no one's going to take you seriously. Or now your degree supposedly isn't worth anything, or it's not supposedly worth anything. Now I'm talking about some of my stuff too, but you know, for this particular job, like degrees don't mean anything anymore because it's not the exact degree that this stupid algorithm said you're supposed to have.
Right.
So you start to not believe you can even get that traction anymore.
But when you are a single mom or a single dad and you are doing stuff on your own, and you, even if you had your family support, your family is not responsible to continue to provide for you. But sometimes you just get knocked down and you think, I'm just going to do what I have to do to get by. And you don't even know your potential. You don't even know what's out there. Tonight I had some of my clients come over. They're a young couple and they've got a small child. And she was in the military. She's not in the military anymore. And she was working. And so he's not working because he's seasonal. She's not working because she went back to school. And so, they're living off air. His car broke down. So now they have a $500 thing that they have to come up with to try to figure it out, which is why they probably want to get their taxes back to pay that off. And that's perfectly fine. But when I asked her, I said, what do you want to do? And she said, I have no clue. Now, she's a young kid. She's in her 20s. So
I was in the military, and when I got out, I just basically said, well, I don't want to do that. I know that much.
Well, and she was in like a medical thing. So she was going to school in what she did in the military. And she said, I cannot mentally handle it anymore. I just don't like the classes. It's not clicking with me. And I said, you know what? And she said, but I feel really bad. And so what happens is you start to feel like you're not worth anything because you don't know what you want to do. And then that's kind of when I went into, there's a lot of people who we talk about when they peak in high school. I was like, I told my daughter, always date the nerd because nerds run the world. They're in charge of everybody. The nerds they're going to push forward. And I said, and I'm in my 50s and I haven't even peaked yet. Like I am on my way. Like I'm excited, but I have such a great support system and a team that I work with. But I built that team. Like I built their trust in me, and not everybody has that even in their brain. Like they don't have the confidence. I always tell people I'm overconfident. I know that I'm awesome. I know that I do a good job. My problem is that I don't take care of myself financially. I take care of everybody else around me to make sure they're making money, and I was ignoring myself. And so those people out there who just need help, and I believe at a program like this, if those single moms, and like I said, if they have too much pride, screw them. Don't do it. You go over and stress out.
That's a lot of conditions. Well, it's the same thing. Every program's going to have some conditions, or honestly, it's probably not going to end up being a very successful program.
Right. And this program isn't about getting you the car. This program is about making you and your life better. And since you don't have that support system to be able to get the car, get to work, have daycare, understand your money, understand your bills, get you training into something that maybe you want to do, and have someone in your life that will be there for you. It's just like if you're an alcoholic, you have a sponsor, and that sponsor's job is to be there for you 24/7. This is the same thing. If you want to better yourself, then maybe you need to go to the Betterment Society, and the car part is just one inkling to help these people make a difference, because ultimately we have children that are involved, and all we're doing is training them how to live the same lifestyle as their parents, and they never get out of that cycle unless they're like totally a brainiac and go like, I'm never going to be like my mom. And then you've got problems there. We want the kids to be proud of their parent. We want the kids to look up to their parent. We want to continue that education onto their children. And they're not going to get that if they can never get out of the badness and out of the same cycle. We've got to break the cycle. And it's a bunch of crap that they have. All these stupid nonprofits are like, let's break the cycle of poverty. Nobody really wants to break the cycle of poverty. They throw money at it.
Whoa. Who's a conspiracy theorist now? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Where are we breaking the cycle of poverty? Literally, that's a United Way slogan. Break the cycle of poverty. We're going to teach third graders how to do this, and we're going to do this.
That's what you're saying is it's a partial solution.
It
doesn't end up solving the whole thing.
They don't do it. They just go raise money to break the cycle of poverty. Okay, so what do we do? Raise money to break the cycle of poverty. What are we doing?
I hear knocking on the doors from the
I've been in the
from
nonprofits.
The goons from United Way. Here they come.
You know what? They changed. The United Way changed their funding about 5 or 6 years ago to like 3 different things. What it was to actually educate and start in the 3rd grade, because in the 3rd grade, that's when they said, here's the problem. If you don't help the parents of that third grader's still going to go home to that lifestyle. The parents need the help, and we took that away in a lot of the different programs away from them. So that's my thing on that. So anybody out there that has a lot of money and wants to help out single parents and start getting some mentors, this does not have to be in a Topeka thing. You would be freaking rocking, and you would be able to have benchmarks, and you would be able to show that you actually did break the cycle of poverty one person at a time. Because, excuse me, we have a lot of single parents out there, and I tell you right now, I would not be in this house, and I would not have what I have. My daughter would not be the way she is if I didn't have my parents. Because when my roof was leaking, my mom put a roof on it. I was very blessed to have parents who stepped in, and when I needed something, I never asked for it. They just did it because they saw a need, and they've always made sure their kids are taken care of. But not everybody has that. So anyway, that was my.
If you like the steak dry, if you like the steak dry, better put a roof on it. If you like the steak dry, put a roof on it. No, it's true. That's all true. That I mean, without that family support, it becomes a lot harder. And then even then, to your point, it's like, where do these habits come from? And if we can, get people both into good habits and just out of the bad habits.
Correct. And their habits, and they're inherited. They're inherited habits, because that's what you hang around my daughter for a while, and I look at him like this. Oh, I failed. She picked up that habit. That's me, or that's her father. I see, like how she does stuff, because parents. I mean, it might be that she's just really nerdy and very smart, and I'll take credit for that. But some of the stuff that she does, I'm just kind of like, oh, wow. Because I was a single mom, and she was like my confidant, and her and I did everything. Maybe as a parent, if I would have had, like a spouse or a boyfriend or something that was around, maybe I would have gone to them and talked. But she's always been so mature. I just talked to her, and maybe I probably shouldn't have done that because she worries about too much stuff. But I can't change it now. She's 29. And so anyway, but yep, that's where I'm at with that topic. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I was going to say that, you had only as a related thing when you talk about the money in some of these programs, and I think you mentioned during the actual broadcast that it kind of irritates you when people act like they're giving, but then act like someone is a, I don't want to say a scourge on society, but like a parasite, like. Right. It's like, well, make up your mind. Do you support things or don't you? But anyway, as to the money and that type of a thing, so let's say someone gets, I just want to do some quick numbers. Let's say somebody gets approved for $2,500 a year in food stamps, right? Okay. So I can tell you left and right on state levels, and I know, without giving details, there's literally millions of dollars wasted every year at state government level through contractors where they shouldn't be getting paid as much as they are. And $8 million, I want you to think about this. So this is the type of waste that easily happens all over the place, even on state, is equivalent to, $8 million is equivalent to 8,000 people, think about it, getting $1,000 worth of food stamps a year, and equivalent to 3,200 people getting $2,500 in food stamps a year. So when you talk about, how they're wasting, I'm not saying that the government can't do things more efficiently, but have a little scale on that. In fact, I'm the first person to say they can do things more efficiently because I'm a libertarian, but have a little sense of scale when you worry about how much someone who may be in a dire need, at least at the moment. And as far as I know, there are some pretty strict limitations on timetable and stuff like that for government type help. Anyway,
as I say, public assistance is not like it was 15 years ago, where you got a welfare check in the mail and then you got your food stamps, and they got rid of all that stuff. They've got work programs, they've got incentives, they have different things like that, depending on which state that you live in. But what really irritates me is someone who is saying, in one breath, you got to donate over to this charity because they help the homeless and they help the poor people. And then they share a meme, a couple days later that is basically saying that people on welfare eat better than people making $75,000 a year. This is my refrigerator. It's empty. I'm like, well, I guess it wouldn't be empty if you didn't donate all your money to the poor people. Like, you're not poor. So why are you acting like people who have a job don't have any money, don't have any food in your refrigerator? That meme, every time I see it, I just get you know which meme I'm talking about, right? It's the one that's got like an empty refrigerator with like an apple, and then over here it's got like the whole refrigerator, and then there's cereal on top, and they're like, this is my refrigerator and I work 2 jobs, and then this is somebody that's on welfare, they make all this food, and you're like, where? That's not even true.
Well, here's the other thing about it being true or not. It's like, well, maybe you don't have any food in your refrigerator because you keep going to restaurants. that's totally what I do.
Correct. Right.
I can afford to go to restaurants.
Yeah. So maybe you go shopping and you go to, like my friend goes, every time we go to the grocery store, we spend at least $250. I'm like, for 4 of you? And they're like, well, we buy this. No. Make a list. Make a menu, buy what's on the list, and walk your ass out.
Eat what you buy. Don't let it be sitting in your refrigerator for 7 months later just because it was on sale at one point.
Yeah, like plan this crap out. Don't just go and throw a bunch of stuff in your in your cart. Plan it out. Have a budget. Know that you can't spend $250 a week on food.
And as we are discussing, financial responsibility is so important when you're not making much money, but it's incredibly important for any of us. So all of those strategies of food budgeting and actually eating the food you buy and not going to what I do all the time.
Well, and then another episode, because it'll be a whole episode. I have the new food stamp. It's called Vision Card. I don't know what they call it in other places. I have an entire program for that as well. If they wanted to literally eliminate probably 40% of people on food stamps.
You should never eliminate people.
No.
I was hearing that wrong.
Yeah, no. Because they're the ones that don't. They're the ones who are not using the program like they should. If they had to,
I was literally making a mass murder joke there.
Yes,
you just missed it.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, I have the program, so I will let people know my program, and then once again, one of these state or federal people.
40% of the people who don't use it right.
No, 40% of the people, not 40% of the people on the program, but at least 40% of the people who are getting around the system and not supposed to be on it. So there's like that small percentage, but a lot of those people with my program would not, and it actually would be able to increase the other people and provide them with better food, skills. It's a great program. I'm not going to get into it because it's freaking awesome. I've had it for quite some time. It would take work.
You mean the idea?
Mm-hmm. It would take money to do it, but we would save money in the long run because I do believe that people that want to just, get the money and call it good. But like I said, I am that middle person. There's that, everybody always thinks that, the Democrats just want to just give. No, I believe that every time we put a Band-Aid on a problem, all we do is increase the problem and we just have to put more Band-Aids on there. And I want to solve these problems. And so I have a solution for food stamps. So
okay,
it'll change the world. I'm going to
ask her this offline, so I'm going to know before you. No. Now I'm interested.
No. Oh, you're not getting a sneak peek.
Man.
So anyway, that's enough with that stuff. The other thing that we were going to talk about just really quickly is Valentine's Day.
We have to talk about Valentine's Day.
Is coming up, and I don't celebrate. That's not a holiday that I've ever celebrated. I get really mad. I remember I get mad a lot because people are so weird. I saw one of my friends was so mad because her husband didn't do what she wanted for Valentine's Day, and I started boycotting it and if I'm with somebody, I want them to just show me appreciation randomly without being forced to.
That was my stubborn way of looking at it back when But that ought to tell you how well that worked back when. Like, no, it's better just to show, here and there.
Right.
I'm not saying that was the reason, but I thought the same thing. I'm like, wouldn't it? It
right.
seems a lot more genuine when it just happens to be on June 11th, and
Well, but I don't.
Well, it's February 14th. Oh, what am I going to have to come up with?
Well, and I don't like to be told what to do. So I'm very stubborn. Like, don't tell me I got to love you on February 14th. I will love you on February 15th. What's up? What are you going to do about it? You know what? First of all, I'm not going to go out with all the idiots that are out at the restaurants waiting and doing all that stuff. I don't get it. Like, I don't.
There is a little bit of a backlash. A lot of women now are like, whatever, get me candy on the 16th. It's fine with me. It's on sale.
Well, I've got my group of girls in Topeka. They're all going to Blind Tiger. They started like literally 9 months ago.
Local brewery / restaurant.
Yeah, they started 9 months ago. I've got this, and today it's just been bing, 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 bing. The group text entitled February 14th. We've been doing this for 9 months, planning February 14th. It's just a bunch of single girls.
Well, it's Friday this year.
I know, and they have reservations. And today it was like, we have one vacancy, and I was like, I'm going to Kansas City. Like I have plans, not for Valentine's Day, but I do have to say.
Oh, look at that smile!
I do have to say that my friends own a French bakery in Topeka, and since I do a lot of promotions and marketing, they always send me. So I always ask, what's going to go on? Because on my website, I have a page that tells you who to call.
You can be principled and still get the goodies. Sounds like what you're going to. Go ahead.
They sent me a picture, and it's this pastry, and I posted it on Facebook, and there's either raspberries or strawberries in it, and I was like, oh my gosh, those look amazing. And so I put on Facebook, I'm like, I'm going to need these.
You might send those pastries a Valentine.
Well, you know what? I'm sending myself.
You might love them on February 14th.
Well, I'm picking them up on 14th.
Your
I'm taking them down to Kansas City. Because it's only for Valentine's Day that they're making them. So I'm not celebrating Valentine's Day. I'm just going to eat really unhealthy on Saturday because I'm going down. We're not celebrating anything, but I had my friend down in Kansas City. I sent him a picture, and I was like, do these look good? And he was like, yeah, those look really good. I go, I'm going to order some. So I was like, I'm going to need 3 of each.
Nice.
And so I'm going to take those down. But I would have done that if it wasn't for Valentine's Day. We're not doing anything for Valentine's Day. But I will eat the Valentine's Day treat. And I'm buying it myself because I can do that. I don't have to have someone.
You're an independent woman.
I'm a stubborn woman. I just don't need, and I don't like, I just can't, I'm sorry, I just can't handle when people are like, it's just so sad that I don't have anybody. I saw someone on Facebook, it's going to be my first Valentine's Day that I actually have somebody. I'm like, girl, you still have 3 days. Do not jinx yourself. Do not jinx yourself. Because I had friends on Facebook that were like, I can't believe it. I'm going to have a New Year's kiss. And picture with boyfriend, 3 days before. Yes, I'm single and I'm not going to talk about it. Okay.
Because that's the old pressure. Like if someone's been going with a dude's been going with someone for since about November. Now we're talking, okay, is this getting serious or not? There's some guys right now going, crap.
Right.
Am I really ready for this?
Last week, dude, was your last week you could have broke up with him. You can't break up with him now. You're done.
Absolutely you can until Friday.
No, you cannot. You cannot.
It's a breakup.
You're done. You can't. You should have thought about it earlier.
But that's to your point. Well, you're saying tactfulness.
Yeah.
I am saying in reality, some women really better not count their Valentines before they hatch.
No, they should
because
not.
Dudes are thinking about it tonight and tomorrow.
Right.
We've been going together 3 months now, and this is probably going to make it at least 6 months if I do anything.
This is pressure. Or they're like, oh, I put together my list. I'm like, it's not freaking Christmas. It's Valentine's Day. So aren't you just supposed to get a thing of chocolate or something to eat or and then especially when they get engaged on Valentine's Day. I'm the same way. I'm like, really? Like, really? That's what you did. How many?
Picked the most corporate, quote, romantic day of the year, too.
Forced day. Like, what? Like, yeah. We agree on that one.
Time to get more jewelry for
exactly.
Oh, man, I listen to sports talk out of Kansas City. And the one I listen to, it's like the Battle of the Diamond Stores. It's like the most romantic day of the year. I'm like, is it really?
Really?
I think it's just a day that's been designated.
Actually, maybe, so when you have like your married couples, there's like 4 days out of the year you get to have sex. Your birthday. Maybe Father's Day.
Well, for some couples, maybe the birthday wish is not to. Okay, I just want today to myself. It's my birthday. So like,
I don't know. It
could have been random any of the last 2 weeks, but since there hasn't been any in the last 2 weeks, then not today. I would just want to rest. It's my birthday.
Well, anyway, it's New Year's Eve, birthday, Valentine's Day, and
anniversary.
Anniversary, you think? Yeah, I would have to say I was going to say
times.
when you really, really, really want something. It's like, seduction. Honey, why don't we do this? Oh, yeah, okay, what do you want?
No,
let's not talk about it until tomorrow.
Tell me?
Well, I kind of bought a new car.
Didn't really. I made kind of a big decision without your input. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Because we had sex.
Yeah.
His and hers, $50,000 SUVs.
Honey, we don't have $2,000 in the bank.
Yeah, but we had sex.
Okay.
It's going to be okay.
Be all right. If that's what you want.
Yeah. So Valentine's Day, there's some guys like, yes, I'm going to get lucky. And there's other guys going, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, there's like, oh no, I could, but that'll mean she'll think it's more serious than it is. I really want to be with her. And then there are some other people who right now are like, in my other social media, I said, I can't. Well, it's almost Valentine's Day. I can't wait to decide what I'm going to get myself.
I got myself pastries.
There you go.
I'm not going to wait. First of all, I don't wait around for people to buy me stuff. So if anybody's going to do something for me, I really just want it to be a surprise. That's it. I don't need a day. And then being on a Friday.
You'll say that, and then if you still don't, get
celebrate
on
my
Valentine's
anniversary.
Day.
Nope. Even on an anniversary, I don't care. And it's like I celebrate my birthday, Kimtober, all month long. I don't do that for gifts. I don't do that really for my birthday. It's basically just kind of just being silly and just kind of being fun because you get older and people don't want to celebrate their birthdays, and so it's just something that I've been doing.
Being contrary and stubborn, because you're right. A lot of people, as they get older, like, I want to make a big deal on my birthday, and then nobody has any fun on their birthday.
Yeah. And I have fun for 31 days.
So you're like trying to, exactly.
31 days.
And for enough for 50 people.
Exactly. A
lot of these people going, I don't want to have fun around my birthday. Who cares? You're like, you know what? I'm going to be stubborn and be contrarian about that, and I have fun. I'm going to do what I want. Too.
Yeah.
Well, you just go ahead and do June-tober then, too.
Well, we have to have my birthday in June. I mean, I can't take someone else's month.
Go ahead. I'm not going to do anything with it.
So you're June?
Yes.
Oh, no. Thank you. I did not know his birthday month, but guess what, folks? June-tober will be happening. Mr. Introvert.
Let's see. So wait a second. Now I forget. Is it Kimtober's October?
Kimtober is October.
Okay, so you got one less day to work with since June's only.
I know,
days.
but we've got steak dinner.
I got to start networking too. Remember, because of our resolutions.
Yes.
We haven't talked about resolutions. Maybe we should talk about that next week. Now that we're over a month into the new year.
Yeah, I am on track with my resolution.
I'm not.
I guess I better go figure out what those were. I don't remember.
I'm not at all.
I'm going to go listen to that episode.
I remember mine. I'm not at all on track. I kind of started a little bit.
I try. You're not easy to pull out. It's like to get out into the community.
Yeah,
you got to
like,
say,
hey, you need to go there. And I said, yeah, maybe not this time, but I probably should next time.
Next time, and then you have an excuse every month.
Yeah. Anyway, next time. Gotta start networking.
Yeah. You gotta do that. You gotta get out and be a people person for so many hours a month. You don't have to do it all the time.
If everybody could just wear their name tag all the time, I'd feel more comfortable. Hey, how are you? What's her name again?
I don't know anybody's name. I just go like this. Hey, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I had someone call me the other day.
You showed up.
No, I know my friends' names. I don't know other people's names. Although someone called me the other day and he was like, hey, this is Doug. And I was like, hey, what's up? And I thought, well, he's just going to talk. I'll figure out who it is.
You're madly looking through your Facebook friends list.
Well, it's all accounting stuff. And so then he started talking. And as soon as he started talking, I was like this, I know who it is. And I never even let it on that I had no clue who it was until we got into it, and then I just jumped right on. I'm like, oh, I know who this is.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this podcast. That's the first time we said that.
Well,
usually
I don't
it's
think
like,
he
listen, and tell people.
Tell people. It's like, I'm going to have to block him from this one.
Well, maybe you're just making up a name.
I don't think he would even know. He wouldn't have a clue. You wouldn't have a clue. But yeah, so nothing really special for Valentine's Day. I'm going to go to the casino. I like my buddies down at the casino. And
up north or over east in Kansas
Hollywood.
City?
I'm going to go to Hollywood Casino.
Okay, so
I don't go
FYI, if you go to Kansas City, it's got a few casinos. She's talking about the one on the west end of town towards Kansas Racetrack.
It's our Kansas casino. All the other ones are in Missouri down there.
Yeah. Because I thought maybe you'd said you'd gone to the one that's right on the river here, but not that long ago.
No.
As you're going on 35.
Oh, Argosy. I've been to Argosy.
I wasn't thinking Argosy. I was thinking of another one.
There's like Harrah's and different ones. I don't know.
So usually you go to the one at the
Hollywood.
Speedway?
Yeah, it's 45 minutes from my house. And so it's not that big. So it's not that long of a drive. But yeah, so Valentine's Day will be over by the time this comes out, and you and I will both have done really nothing for it, so we won't have.
Not gonna bother me. I mean,
well, it doesn't bother me either. Some people get really upset about it, like they have like those anti-Valentine's parties. That's what. There's another bar in Topeka. I mean, they're going all out. Now that would be fun.
You should just go there and make fun of them. That would be
fun. I mean, it's just kind of.
You guys are all crying inside, aren't you? You would be making such a big deal out of having an anti-Valentine. You just be going about your day.
You know, when you own a bar, you have to come up with different themes.
Good
like
point.
you literally have to plan a party every weekend. So to do the non-traditional is kind of fun. I would do something. We've done Valentine's Day before. I think we did a drag show last year for Valentine's Day. We did. Family Feud. So we did a Family Feud. We had 4 groups of people that came in and did Family Feud on Valentine's Day. But I think that was New Year's Eve. We did the drag show. Then someone got engaged. I was like, I know someone got engaged, but I think it was New Year's Eve. We did a drag show. Because my brother used to be a drag queen, but he retired her.
I didn't know that.
You did not know that Frank was diva?
No, that was retired.
Oh, yeah, diva's retired. I mean,
know that.
We think he might have murdered her, but we haven't seen her. She hasn't been at any family functions in a long time. But we just say she's in the nursing home with Savannah, the other drag queen from Atlanta.
Oh, I don't know that one either. But I did know about Frank's. Yes, of course. Everybody knew about that.
Diva was awesome. She was a fun time. So anyway, anything else that we have to talk about? I'm just trying to think of. I'm just work.
No, I didn't really have anything else. And I have not really messed with Tyson's page in a while there on Facebook. So throw some ideas. Every once in a while, I'll just kind of get on a roll and look up some things. So again, just go over there and see if you can get me excited about some topic, and I'll dive into it and have some fun with it. But right now, I don't have anything going.
Nothing?
Man, what did I put up on regular Facebook lately that wasn't? It was just my private profile as opposed to Tyson's page.
you put up all your customer. I did copy all your customer service problems. I'm starting a customer service.
Gosh.
I have a customer service group that we're going to do customer service training. It's one of my programs that I'm getting ready to develop.
Lordy.
And I loved the one when you went to Wendy's and they had no hamburgers. cracking up. I was like, yeah, you can have chili, or was it baked potato,
French
fries, or chili. I mean, they go together, but why would you?
This wasn't at 9:45.
Yeah,
the
why
dining
would
room,
you?
let alone that, of course, their drive-through is over. It is still open later.
Yeah.
We're talking 8:25 or something.
Right.
Well, the dining room's open till 10, and they were cleaning all of their grills.
All of them cleaning their grills.
Oh, my Lord.
So
Couldn't believe it.
that had to have been the manager had not had to be there, of like the real one. Like the little assistant manager must have had a date.
Yeah.
There was something.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. It's like there were 7 people in line. So
Yeah.
you're saying no to all those people.
Yeah,
Plus
that's
a few
not
people
good.
who came in, they said it's going to be another 15 minutes. They just lost potentially $150, $200.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people might have been paying close to 10, and if they're getting it for a whole group, it might have been 20 or 30.
Now it could make sense if like they got like a grease fire, like something happened and they got it out and they're like, we got to clean this grill off because it's crappy, like an emergency kind of a thing. But I can't imagine that they'd have to shut all of it down.
Yeah.
And just serve chili and French fries.
Yeah, that was weird. So yeah, I had some customer service stuff about others too that were funny, but we probably don't have time to mention them here.
Yeah, nope. I like that because it was funny because I'm building my group, and so I have a customer service, and I'm going to start asking people, please send me your customer service stories because I want to have real life things to train these people because we're going to be dealing with restaurants because I just believe that we don't have the skills and to be able to teach them, and we don't have the technology, especially in our community, but pretty much in a lot of communities. And so we're going to put together a fun-filled training course to teach people customer service, hospitality, meaning learning more about our city, and
good management skills when you're managing a bunch of 17 through 20-year-olds.
That's not customer service.
Okay.
So that's more training, like the people, and so that could come later, depending on it, because I am working with all the restaurants in Topeka, and if it's something that we can get them on board for, that there's money behind it, I wouldn't have a problem. Because that's come up a couple times.
Sometimes management becomes also understanding when you need to help at that customer
Correct,
service.
yeah.
And, but you're right. A lot of it's the training to begin with.
But why not go to our technical college and have a class there? Like that's something I might go to Washburn Tech in Topeka and say, you know what we need is you need to have training for restaurants. And that's something that they could add so that they would go over there, they could get their student loans, their Pell Grants, and they could take night classes and get something. I don't know if they could have something like that, but you are correct. We need that. But my biggest thing is, just treating the customers with respect, knowing when to go to the table after delivering the food, keep what a customer expects, filling the water, what bartenders are supposed to do. When you walk into a restaurant, what is the first thing that they see? Are you on your cell phone? Are you talking to other members and ignoring the customers? Is it frantic? Is it uncontrolled? Is it structured? And then one of the people is actually trains police officers, and he wants to train them on, what do you call it? I got to think of what the word is basically taking a hostile situation and de-escalation. Exactly. That's exactly the word I was thinking of. So training a server and stuff like that when a customer is getting that way, for them to understand and not feed into it, cause any more problems, or take it personal, and understand what they need to do. So we really want a certificate. We want it to be big and bad. So
when they say, "Excuse me, I'm supposed to have 4 pieces of bacon," you're not supposed to go, "You don't need the 4th one, lady."
Yeah, like this. Have you been on a scale lately? I don't think so.
No, you probably better. We accidentally only gave you 3. That's not a proper de-escalation procedure.
I don't think so.
Well, for me, without getting into it, so much of this, what happens is as the place is about to close, it's like what I say about being a community theater actor who's had some big roles. Every night is that audience member's time to see the show. So even if it's your 15th show and you've had 35 rehearsals before then, So now you're like, man, we're almost done with this thing. Every single time is their time to see
exactly.
that. And so when someone comes in 15 minutes before, then whether it's a restaurant or if it's a store, and it's 3 minutes before close, and you're trying to close up, even though it's not. You say closed at 9. You don't say closed at 8:57.
Right.
So think of that person's particular experience,
right.
not the way you're feeling. So don't bend those rules.
And then it's really funny to me when someone complains about that, and then someone will say, "Dude, it says 9 o'clock. Be respectable. Everyone knows you don't go in after 8:30."
I didn't know that.
No, it's not. What you say is kitchen closes like at Field of Greens. The salad bar comes down at 2. We close at 3. So if you come in at 2, the salad bar is coming down. All right? And it says salad bars too. But we still have sandwiches. And if the soup's been pulled, they'll get you a bowl of soup. But you can get off of the menu. But we close at 3 o'clock, meaning we need 1 hour to take the salad bar down. And we say, so if you then you say kitchen closes, like in bars, normally they say kitchen closes at 10, but the bar's open till 2. So if you literally want to be open till, I have got to quit saying literally. I don't know why I keep saying that.
I write
dumb.
that a lot.
It's like literally, it's like, what am I doing?
That's literally dumb.
Literally stupid.
I'm just kidding.
I'm
I was just doing wordplay there.
I'm literally tired of saying literally because I'm recognizing it now. So stop saying that word. So if you want to get out of there at 9 o'clock, then
you can make those notices.
The kitchen closes at 8:30,
yeah.
Lobby closes at 9, and you're done.
But what the rules say, follow those rules, and
Correct.
don't say, "Well, that's not fair for them to show up." Don't
yeah,
no, it's like
they
only 2 minutes before close. Well, it's 2 minutes before close. I'm talking like a.
Yeah.
I'm talking like when I say 2 minutes before close, I'm talking like when you go into a store and they're like shutting things down already.
Right.
Yeah, personal peeve of mine. But yeah, let alone, okay, the drive-thru is open till at least midnight.
Right. And the grills
and the dining room is open
down.
for another hour and a half. And you can't get a burger at Wendy's. Hopefully that's the last time they make that mistake. That was
exactly.
But like you said, maybe someone had a date.
I was going to say somebody had something. Well, and also email corporate and get a free sandwich.
Ooh, yeah.
You do. I mean,
that's why a lot of my posts I don't make public. I just do friends, but I'm like, just in case someone sees that, just so they're subtly understand the situation. I wouldn't want anybody to be fired.
No.
I hate that type of stuff. But
reality
if someone go, hey guys, what were you thinking? Don't do that.
But management can't fix it if they don't know about it. That's my thing. I send a lot of emails, and it's good emails too if they go above the service. So
yeah.
Anyway, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna call it quits here. I think Tyson's got to go out and get some Valentine's Day stuff. He's acting like he's not, but
wait.
he's gonna get his apartment. He's gonna put some balloons and some streamers,
candles,
some candles and some incense.
You know what? I love you so much, Tyson. I love you too, Tyson. My neighbors will be like, is Tyson gay? Those voices were remarkably alike. That's a weird thing. Oh, we always end on silliness, even when we talked about serious stuff.
Well, that's Kimology 411. There's not too much serious. I mean, we try to be serious, but anyway. All right, guys, thank you so much for giving us your time, and we appreciate our listeners, and we are excited to continually do our show. Episode 20. That's awesome. That's at least 20 weeks. That's a lot. Make sure to comment on our Facebook group, Kimology 411. Make sure to join if you're getting in there. Go back and listen to all the other episodes. Comment on our Facebook group. If you have anything with any of the episodes, let us know the episode that you're talking about, and we'd be glad to interact with you and talk about it on our show. Thank you, Tyson, for helping make Kimology so awesome.
Of course, ma'am. We'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. And please make sure to keep going on all your adventures.